Your walk changed long before any pain hit your knee. It's not pain and it's not fatigue. It's not even a fall that's already happened to you. It's how you change direction in your own kitchen. When you need to step around the refrigerator, you turn your whole body instead of taking one simple step. You stop stepping sideways and nobody ever told you. Your body still moves well forward and back, but slowly it forgot how to catch you sideways. The fall that breaks a hip almost always lands you on your side. In this video, I'll show you 5 moves that wake up the side muscle of your hip. You'll do the first 2 sitting right in your own chair. One of these 5 matters more than all the rest. It lives in exactly the direction your body gave up, and it decides whether you catch yourself or you go down. For decades, people told you that walking slower after 60 just means your whole body is aging, that your shorter, wider steps are simply part of getting older. But that story points to something far more specific. What usually stopped working is one muscle on the side of your hip. It's called your gluteus medius, and it sits right under your hand. It isn't worn out. It's just been off duty for years. Think about the difference between an old house and a burned-out light bulb. You don't fix an old house in one Sunday afternoon. You swap out a light bulb in 2 minutes and the whole room lights up again. Your hip is much closer to that light bulb than that old house. It responds fast once the signal reaches it, and that signal fits right into your chair. Here's the real villain in your story, and it isn't your age. It's a life lived in a chair and the quiet acceptance that comes with it. You sit down for coffee, you sit in the car, you sit to watch television. A muscle that sits all day long stops getting any signal at all. It switches off simply because nobody calls on it. In a rushed doctor's visit, nobody has time to explain this to you. The explanations can feel canned, almost like a computer wrote them. And the advice is always the same: be careful. Being careful is half the plan, and it's a good half. But being careful alone won't give your hip any strength back. Let me show you the real fear here. You step off the curb toward your car, and your foot catches the edge of it. Your body tips sideways with no warning at all. Your leg needs to move fast enough to catch you. When it doesn't, your hip hits the ground. One imaging review looked at 185 hip MRI scans from adults over 50. As people got older, tendon damage and glute muscle loss both went up. That's simply an association tied to age, captured in a single snapshot. It doesn't prove that muscle loss caused a single fall. Here are the 5 moves I promised to walk you through. You'll do the first 2 sitting down, and nobody around you will even notice. You'll do the 3rd one lying on your own bed. You'll do the 4th one standing with both hands on the back of a chair. And movement number 1, which comes last, decides everything else. Everything here comes from real medical studies and published research. I'll link every source down in the video description so you can check it yourself. Researchers attached small electrical sensors to volunteers' skin. They measured how hard each muscle fired across 12 different exercises. That study only measures how active a muscle gets during exercise, nothing more. It doesn't measure falls. It doesn't measure your walk. It doesn't measure any real-world outcome. Movement number 5 is the seated glute squeeze. You've been told your whole life that resting in a chair does you good, but after 60, that chair charges you a price nobody warns you about. You know this scene better than I do. You stand up from your recliner, and your first step comes out crooked. You need 2 full seconds before you trust your own leg. Press both feet into the floor right now, and notice what tightens behind you. Did you feel something squeeze underneath you? If you barely felt anything, that's not your fault. Your glute max is the largest muscle in your entire body. Sitting down, it goes hours without a single clear signal from your brain. The path between your brain and that muscle doesn't disappear. It just rusts. Think about someone who leans on the armrest every single time they stand. That's not laziness, and it's not extra weight. It's a command that stopped arriving on time. Now let's walk through it, and I'll be very specific with you. Sit with your feet flat on the floor and your back against the chair. Squeeze both cheeks together hard, like you're holding a coin between them. Hold for 5 seconds, then release slowly. Rest for 5 more seconds, then squeeze again. Do 10 reps, twice a day, morning and night. Breathe normally through the whole squeeze without holding your breath. Your torso shouldn't move at all in that chair. If you rock, your lower back is doing the work instead. The most common mistake here is holding your breath mid-squeeze. You trap the air and your blood pressure climbs for no good reason. Count the seconds out loud, and that problem fixes itself. Now, here's your test, and it belongs only to you. Squeeze both cheeks and count how many seconds you can hold it without loosening. Release, take a deep breath, and try the test once more. If the contraction fades before you decide to let go, your signal is arriving broken. That's exactly what this movement trains every single day. This squeeze wakes up the big muscle, the one right behind you. But the muscle that catches you when your body tips sideways is a different one. The next move goes after it, using nothing but your own hands. Movement number 4 is the knee press out. Walking is the most recommended exercise in the world, and for good reason. It helps your heart, your mood, and your sleep. But after 60, walking leaves one big gap unfilled. Walking moves you forward. Climbing stairs moves you up. Pedaling moves you forward too. None of those 3 moves you sideways. And your gluteus medius works in exactly that one direction. You've noticed this in the grocery store aisle. Here in the States, that narrow aisle turns into a real test of balance. Someone comes toward you and you need to step out of the way. You don't slide sideways, you spin your entire body around instead. Meet Ray, 73 years old and living in Ohio. He walks about 1/3 of a mile across the grocery store parking lot without getting tired. One day, gravel got into his shoe. One afternoon, Ray tried to balance on one foot to shake it out, and he couldn't. He had to grab the side of his 2004 pickup truck to keep from falling over. He had plenty of endurance. He had almost no side-to-side stability. Your daily walk never pays down that side balance debt. Now, let's walk through the move. Sit at the edge of your chair with your feet set, hip width apart. Place your hands on the outside of your knees, one hand on each side. Push your knees outward against your own hands. Your hands resist and your knees don't actually move. Hold for 5 seconds, release, and do 8 reps once a day. Try one push right now, just one, while you listen to me. Put your hand on the side of your hip, right below the bone. Did you feel it tighten under your hand? That's the muscle. The most common mistake is pushing with everything you've got, all at once. Explosive force doesn't train the signal, it just tires you out fast. Push with steady, moderate force and hold it the whole time. Now compare your 2 sides, one at a time. Push only your right knee against your right hand and count the seconds. Then do the exact same thing on your left side. Your total time here doesn't matter, the difference between sides does. Whichever side gives out first is the side doing less work when you walk. Sitting down, you've already woken up both glutes with a clear signal. But neither one has had to lift your body weight off the floor yet. The next move puts your full weight on top of them, and you'll do it lying down. Before we keep going, if this video is helping you, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Every video here is built entirely on published research, so it actually helps your everyday life. Movement number 3 is the bridge. Standing up from a chair feels like the simplest thing in the world to you. You've done it a million times without thinking about it once. But after 60, your body quietly swaps out the engine behind that movement. Standing should be your glute max pushing your hip forward. When it doesn't fire on time, your lower back takes over the job. Your lower back is a helper. It was never meant to be the engine. It does someone else's job and it sends you the bill by day's end. If you're sitting right now, try this. Squeeze both cheeks and press both feet into the floor at the same time. Did you feel your hip want to rise off the chair on its own? That's the right engine firing. You notice this at the edge of your bed early in the morning. To get up from there, you rock your chest forward and use the momentum. You don't rise with your hip, you throw yourself forward instead. There's a woman named Marilyn, 66, who lives in Iowa. Every morning she sits on the edge of her bed to pull on her socks. One day, she paid attention to how she actually stood up. She rocked her chest forward and used the second rock as her launch. At first, Marilyn figured the problem was her knee. It wasn't her knee, it was the wrong engine doing the job. Here's how you do this move. Lie on your back, on your bed, or on the floor, wherever feels safest. Bend your knees and set your feet hip-width apart. Squeeze your glutes first, before you lift anything. Then raise your hips until your torso lines up with your thighs. Hold for 3 seconds at the top, then lower down slowly. Do 8 reps once a day and breathe out as you lift. In week 2, hold for 5 seconds at the top. The most common mistake is lifting too high and arching your lower back. Extra height gets you nothing, it just shifts the strain to your spine. Stop the moment your torso and thigh form one straight line. Now comes the test that measures this entire video for you. You'll do it standing, and I need to talk about safety with you first. This is the 30-second sit to stand test, developed by researchers Rickley and Jones. Use a straight back chair with no arms, pushed against a wall. Cross your arms over your chest and count how many times you stand and sit. These ranges mark the middle 50% by age and by sex. Women 60 to 64 land between 12 and 17 reps. From 65 to 69, the range runs 11 to 16 reps. From 70 to 79, it stays the same, 10 to 15 reps. From 80 to 84, it's 9 to 14, and from 85 to 89, it's 8 to 13. From 90 to 94, the range drops to 4 through 11 reps. Men 60 to 64 land between 14 and 19 reps. From 65 to 69, the range runs 12 to 18 reps. From 70 to 74, it's 12 to 17, and from 75 to 79, it's 11 to 17. From 80 to 84, it's 10 to 15 reps. From 85 to 89, it's 8 to 14, and from 90 to 94, it's 7 to 12. Write down today's number on paper or on your phone. That's the number you'll compare against 3 weeks from now. Marilyn counted hers, and she landed below her age range. That didn't make her sad, it gave her a number to beat. And that's completely normal, it's simply part of the process. Lying down, your glute worked with zero risk of falling. But it still hasn't had to hold you up against gravity while standing. The next move gets you off the bed, hand on the back of a chair. Movement number 2 is the supported standing side leg lift. Standing still feels like the opposite of exercise to you. You learned that real exercise is whatever makes you sweat. But after 60, simply standing steady becomes a skill you have to train. When you lift one leg off the floor, the other one holds your hip level. That job belongs to the gluteus medius on the leg, still on the ground. If it doesn't hold, your hip drops toward the side with the lifted leg. And your torso falls right along with it, trying to compensate. You've seen this on the street before, without ever naming it. Someone walks, and their whole body sways with every single step. That's not extra weight, and it isn't laziness. That's a hip missing its side-to-side break. And here's the trap hidden inside this move. It's common for your leg to swing up high on day one, and it's common for your torso to lean sideways without you noticing. The leg looks great, but the hip barely does any work. Now let's walk through it and keep your attention on your torso. Stand behind a sturdy chair with both hands on the backrest. Keep your feet together and your torso straight. Lift one leg out to the side, toes pointing forward. Lift only as high as your torso can stay straight. Hold for 2 seconds, then lower down slowly. Do 8 reps on each side, once a day. Don't turn your toes upward as you lift. If your big toe points at the ceiling, your inner thigh does the work instead. The most common mistake isn't lifting the leg too little. It's leaning your torso the other way, just to lift higher. Whoever leans their torso isn't training the muscle they came for. Now here's your test. Stand sideways to a mirror or ask someone to watch you from behind. Lift your leg only as high as your torso stays still. That's your honest height. Real range with a still torso beats a bigger crooked range every time. You now have side strength with both feet still on the floor. But no fall ever happens with both your feet on the ground. The last move trains the exact instant one foot leaves the floor. Movement number 1 is the supported side step. Everyone trains moving forward their whole life without ever noticing it. The treadmill moves forward and the stairs move up. But after 60, the fall that breaks a hip almost always ends sideways. When you step to the side, you shift your entire body weight. For one full instant, you're balanced on a single hip. In that instant, the gluteus medius on that side holds your pelvis steady. That's exactly what your body does when someone bumps into you, or when your foot catches the uneven edge of a curb or sidewalk. You notice this at your own kitchen doorway. Instead of stepping sideways, you turn your entire body instead. There's a man named Frank, 76, who lives in Tennessee. He crosses his kitchen doorway with his cane several times a day. He noticed that he turns his whole body just to change direction. So Frank started this side step holding onto his kitchen counter, and he kept his cane the entire time, start to finish. He didn't trade the cane for the muscle, he added the muscle to the cane. The cane holds Frank steady today, and the muscle looks after his tomorrow. Here's how you do this move, and it's slower than you'd expect. Since you're standing, ask someone to help if you need it. Always put your own safety first. Stand with the counter or a chair back within easy reach. Take a short step sideways, toes pointing forward. Land with your whole foot on the floor, not just your toes. Now shift your full weight onto that leg. Hold there for 2 seconds before you bring the other foot over. Do 5 steps to one side, then 5 to the other. Breathe out as you shift your weight across. And don't let go of your support for the first 2 weeks. The most common mistake is stepping over and rushing right back. The value lies in that 1 second, balanced on a single side. If you never pause there, you're not training anything. In one study, researchers followed 94 people by phone over a full year. Stronger hips lined up with fewer falls in that group. And it wasn't the hip alone, several leg muscles played a part. Your balance never depends on one single muscle. It depends on your inner ear, your eyes, your nerves, and your muscles together. Now here's the 10-second single leg test from the Araujo protocol. But please, for your own sake, don't try this alone if it isn't safe. Ask someone to help you. Do it barefoot or in non-slip socks with support within reach. Touch the front of one foot behind the leg on the ground. Keep your arms at your sides and your eyes fixed straight ahead. Hold for 10 seconds and you get up to 3 tries per side. Your result is simply pass or fail, nothing in between. If you use a cane or a walker, do the adapted version instead. Keep both hands on the back of the chair without letting go. Just shift the weight off one foot without lifting it off the floor. All this test tells you is that your system needs more work, nothing more. You now hold all 5 moves right in your own hands, and the order you use them in is part of the plan too. Do these moves in the order I gave you, because that order matters. And always put your safety first. If you can't do it alone, ask someone to help. This video is for educational purposes only, and it doesn't replace medical guidance. Every health situation is different, especially if you take medication regularly. Talk with your doctor before you change your diet, exercise, or treatment. I want to wrap this up by looking way beyond the word health. None of this was about counting reps for you. This is about being able to hop in the car and drive over to your daughter's house whenever you feel like it. It's about stepping off a curb without having to look around for something to hold on to. It's about not having to check in with anyone before you leave the house by yourself. It's about living life on your own terms, because your age should never hold you back. Now, let me know down in the comments, which of these 5 tips are you going to put into practice this week? Take care, thank you so much for sticking with me to the end, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.